Hey, this is Rocio Perez. I'm with Inventíva Consulting, also author, speaker, trainer of Unstoppable and the Mind Shift Game. And I really want you to learn how to level up your life. You should be listening to Time to Shine, today's podcast, with the amazing friend of mine, Scott Ferguson, who is absolutely extraordinary. You want to learn from someone who knows that, who's been there, done that. Listen to Scott.
Time to Shine today, podcast Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I'm at episode 216. I've been looking forward to dropping this show to you for a while now with my really good friend, Rocio Perez from Inventiva. Rocio has a hell of a story, a very young mother. I'll just leave it at that. And how she used and leveraged the knowledge that she picked up from other people to help you level up. It's just fantastic. Again, I've been stoked to bring this interview to you, my squad, my awesome listeners. So without further ado, make sure you sit back, relax, break out your notebook because I have pages of notes. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see I have pages of notes. But again, here comes my really good friend, Rocio Perez from Inventiva. Let's level up. Time to Shine today, podcast Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I have so been looking forward to this interview. Actually, I moved it up in the kind of line of interviews because I just love my really good friend Rocio Perez from Inventiva. Rocio is an unapologetic optimist and sought-after international speaker of truth who has helped to transform leaders around the world. She has delivered hundreds of inspiring and life-changing leadership talks that have helped thousands of attendees embrace the success by becoming more intentional, which I love that. She believes everyone has the capacity to live an empowered life of prosperity, service, and happiness. Rocio is the founder of Inventíva Consulting. She created Inventiva to bring positive change to the workplace and help organizations align culture, brand, and leadership. She designed a 7-step coaching process and wrote an international best-selling book. And if you're watching, it's right here. I'm about halfway through, and it's called Unstoppable, and it rocked your world. So, Rocio, please come on to Time to Shine today and introduce yourself to the Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Blue.
Yeah.
I love blue because it makes me just feel very centered, aligned, focused.
I love it. And you're wearing it and
I am wearing it now and I love it. I love it. It's my power color, Scott.
And it's in your color wheel, right?
It's in my color palette wheel. How did you know?
That's just something I saw in a movie one time. Actually, Sandra Bullock said it in The Blind Side. She's like, I'm not wearing that color because it's not my color wheel. But anyways, I just use that now. I also look at you a little bit of purple as well, because like you have that awesome blue hue to you, but there's a red side, that I'm sure they can come out a little bit and when you're helping people level up, but we'll go with blue. And I'm actually looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now, and that's a nice shade of blue today as well. It's beautiful. But welcome and thank you.
It's such a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you now. I've been so excited about this interview and opportunity to connect with you. I know you're a ball of fire and on fire. I love it.
We are like cut from the same sheet, that's for sure.
Yes, we do.
So let's get to a little bit of the origins, maybe a little bit of a backstory that brought you into Inventiva, where you're just leveling up like all these people and then also writing a best-selling international book too as well.
Well, definitely. I would say my passion came from being a little girl, and I had this dream, Scott, when I was a little girl. And I'd run around with my tattered books and I'd talk with people at the age of 5. I remember seeing a teacher on TV and I said, wow, that's wonderful. I want to be her. I want to be her when I grow up. And I saw her as this amazing individual who taught people. And I remember walking around and telling my Uncle Sergio, saying, Uncle Sergio, someday I'm going to grow up and I'm going to become a teacher so that I can be inspiring people. And I talked about life. I talked about learning. I loved school, never missed a day of school, just loved it. Yet I came from extreme adversities and poverty and abuse of all kinds, moving from point A to point B. And it wasn't like the movers are coming. There isn't even Barbies to pack. It was whatever fit in the trunk of a car, and to begin from square zero constantly. And that was my life. Adversity taught me many, many different lessons. First and foremost, I would say taking responsibility over my life. I ran away at 12. I was pregnant at 14. I was mama by 15 years old. I had a sixth grade education, put myself through university. And it felt like uphill both ways, 8 hours a day, round trip, carrying a baby in my arms at the age of 17. I divorced parents at 15. And I just continued moving forward towards that vision of becoming that teacher to impact people in the world. That was my dream. It became my dream. It became my obsession. And I knew being a young female, family didn't support her, I had to create these opportunities. And I feel very blessed of being unstoppable at a very young age and saying, hey, I can do this. Like, if no one's going to decide for me, I get to choose my life here now. And I always believe that we choose in the present moment. Choosing here now creates my future. A lot of people think it's like, oh, it's a goal. No, it's who I'm being here now that determines and dictates my future. Wow. And I got through school. As a matter of fact, I graduated with my own students. I started off with a sixth grade education, graduated with them from university. We had cap and gowns together at the same time. Very interesting experience to go through, and continuing to lead people along the way. I've made an impact in education. I've always had a foot in the nonprofit community world, as well as the for-profit, and seeing how can I make an even greater impact? What makes us tick? I always wondered as a child, hey, there's a magic formula for people that are successful and for people that are not. Why do some people have something and others don't? What is it about their thinking and the way that they're seeing and doing? Because we're all born equal in the sense that we're able to create. We all have the same type of a mind, and it functions, relatively the same, given that we're born healthy and in a way that we can use that mind. What are the actions? How are people seeing the world, experiencing the world, being in the world, and so forth? And that took me on to graduate students. I had at one point graduating individuals and helping individuals at a capacity of 100% graduation rate for students. And like, that's unheard of. People had a third grade education in their country. They were on their second careers. We had a mix of individuals within our cohorts. To see that capacity to be able to sell people a vision, to say, hey, you can walk into it. And maybe until you see it, let me hold this vision right here near and dear to my heart and help you do that. I've done that with business owners. I've done that throughout corporations around the world. And it's been such an exciting experience in life.
So was there any insecurities as you kind of move forward, being like, a single mom at the age that you were, but you also had that vision of helping people and serving people from such a young age? But was there insecurities that kind of popped in when you're kind of starting to help others level up?
There was moments in life when I made it about others, life was easy. When I just focused on myself, there was moments that I just focused and said, how can this be happening right now? Paint you a picture. When my son was 4.5 years old, I was in university working 2 jobs, cleaning houses, mentoring students, taking up to 21 credits a semester, getting through school on a bus. Okay. Mm-hmm. And there came a moment that I was in the closet, or a walk-in closet, looking at all the laundry that I must do. And thinking, okay, here's what I must do. And here's what I have to do. Like, that's right. No matter what. Buy my son a gallon of milk.
Right.
Or buy him a pair of shoelaces.
Right.
Like, that still, at times, it brings tears to my eyes to think of that moment of vulnerability and saying, wow, how do I do this here now? And getting up and saying, okay, shake it off, mama. I've got to keep moving forward. This little guy relies on his future. His world relies on me here now and what I do. And yes, there was moments that I felt like an imposter. I was in university. I had a sixth grade education. Okay. What isn't there to feel like an imposter when people are walking around talking and having conversations in my classrooms about events that happen in history or things that I should have learned, calculus, math, geometry, whatever that was. And I had no base.
Right. Yeah. And you were like kind of from imposter to owning it. You even did a whole class on that, I believe, pretty recently, yes. Or you're doing one. Let me ask you something. Can I just ask if you were born in the 70s?
I was born in the 70s. Yes.
Okay. So am I. So what kind of judgments did you have, if you don't mind sharing, being a single mother at 15? Because come on, I mean, like I was one of the I know what people would go through back then. Like now I'm not going to say it's common, but it's a little more accepted. Like what kind of judgments did you have against you at the time?
Oh, a lot of, even my family would say, you're never going to make it. You shouldn't go to school. You should be home looking for a husband or taking care of your son's father, whatever that was.
Right.
And it was like, you're never going to make, my own mother said, you're never going to make it. Okay. I grew up hearing, you're not good enough. You're never going to make it. You're not enough. That not enough-ness, definitely, for me, it was, how do I ignore that? Like, I don't believe you. I've seen something out in the world. I don't know what it is. And I know it's not this. Right. I knew at a young age that the life that I lived in would not be the life that I lived in. And I'll repeat that. I knew that the life that I lived in was not going to be the life that I would live in the future, because I had the capacity to be able to create it. I made a vow to myself when I saw people around me drinking and beating up on their partners, whatever that was that I continually saw in my own family, to say, when I have children, it will be different. I will honor and respect it and really take that to another level for them. And that vow, that was my promise.
Wow. And squad, that what Rocío just said kind of goes into my last blog, which I don't know, like 600 of you kind of responded to, which was awesome. Is like the windshield in a car is so much bigger than the rearview mirror. You know what I'm saying? And that rearview mirror, you did not pull that forward. And that is so impressive. So that's just amazing. So Rocío, what do you think then makes a great coach to help people level up?
To be able to understand a person's world. What does that person's world look like? How can I get into their shoes? And not just understanding, and what I hear a lot is regurgitation. How do I understand, where are you here now? What is the feeling? What is the experience of what you're experiencing here now? How do I listen to you in a way of possibility and probability in the future and help you get into that? To have empathy, not to have sympathy. And I get those two very separate. A lot of people have sympathy. There's no sympathy.
Right.
Let me tell you, your kid needs to eat. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry, your kid needs to eat. I've been there. I've done that. I know what it is. Again, a gallon of milk, right? To be able to have to make that decision to say, okay, mama, shake it off, get up, let's go ahead and do something. How do I get what I need here now to focus and seeing what is that resourcefulness? Scott, I truly believe that we're like a seed.
Yes.
There's a seed of Scott. And there's only one seed of Scott in this world forever. And sometimes, thank you, God, right? Because we're such a ball of fire. We're still the same thing. Sometimes I'm like Energizer Bunny over here.
Right.
And everything, just like that seed. And for instance, even this flower here, everything that was inside of this flower was inside that seed. The color, the texture of the flower, the stem, everything that was there. And it's time to bring it out. And we learned somewhere along the way to start wearing this mask of, how do I please mom and be safe around mom and dad and brother and sister, teacher, preacher, whoever you want to call it.
Right.
And how do I return back to who I am and start owning me to understand that all the answers were inside that seed.
Love it. Yeah. And it's funny, there's such a gestation period that happens during the time of what you've got to do with that seed. To make, acorn has how many freaking, how many acorns in an oak tree, right? It's like, and only maybe one turn out into an oak because it's been fertilized and fed the right nutrients. And that's what you help your clients do at Inventiva, correct?
That is correct. I help them see what's possible and probable. I believe that the hardest thing that any one of us can do is to reflect, to auto-reflect. Where have I been? What am I doing here in the present moment? Where am I going? And how do I bridge the gap from where I'm at to where I want to be? Because who I am now is not who I must be in order to be who I want to be.
I love it. And Rocío, when you're starting to kind of take on a client, maybe in a discovery period, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Yes. How do I tap into my own inner wisdom? How do I discover the answers inside of me? Clients come to me and say, hey, I want to earn more money, or I want to level up on my business or job or whatever that may be. Yet they're looking for the answers outside of them. What they discover in the process is that I'm here to help them reconnect to what they already know. And that's what makes it powerful. It makes it powerful beyond measure. As a matter of fact, we coach roughly right now. We have a couple of different programs. Mainly it's 1 year total.
Right. Right.
If you're ready and you've already reached to where you want to be and you're ready to level up, you can come back. If you haven't leveled up, then we can't help you because then it didn't work for you, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it's just like coaching. I mean, you work out, your
Sure.
coach comes by, your body trainer comes in and says, "Hey, Scott, this is the way you do a proper squat, and this is the way you work on the biceps and whatever it may be." You're the
Right.
only one that can work on that, right?
Yes. Yes.
I can give you the
Rest of it.
tools until I'm blue in the face. Yet your results, you're the only one that can bring those results to fruition.
Sure.
I may give you the magic
Yes.
formula a million times.
Yeah.
You're the only one that can do it.
I love it that you take more of a coach approach than a consultant approach. In my opinion, is what I'm seeing. It's like a coach doesn't go out in the field and perform. The player has to, but the coaches give them all the tools, the information, the game plan to go out to execute. That's just fantastic. So, Rocio, if I'm out at a networking event, which here in South Florida, we're out pressing flesh, masks, of course, sometimes, but like we're out kind of doing that. Is there, and I'm talking to somebody and I'm using the whole golden rule of, 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I'm listening. Is there anything I'm listening for that they might be telling me that would make them a great contact, referral, or connection for Inventiva?
Most definitely. I'd say the number one key thing is an individual who's aware of what's going on with them. They're like, okay, maybe I'm having these problems. I don't know how to fix them, right? Yeah, I know that I'm having problems. And on top of that, I'm committed to stay the course. See, Scott, anyone can be curious about anything. We're curious, we take a look, sometimes we're driving down the highway, there's an accident, we look, right? So curiosity only lasts as long as that moment. If somebody's interested, they're only going to do it until they get a certain result or until the most important thing, here's a squirrel moment. Oh, something else is more important. Yet, if this is something that I'm really committed to, so it's those individuals that want to level up, the individuals that are committed to their vision, their passion, and their purpose, then that's something that's completely different, that know that they have the capacity to transform. They may not know how. How do I transform me first to be able to transform the environment? Because here's the distinction between us and maybe our cute little puppy, right? And like all those amazing little puppies. The distinction between us and them is that everything exists inside them. They have lungs, we have lungs. They have legs, we have legs. We have a heart, they have a heart, right? Our ability to be able to think and transform. See, a tree can only be a tree. A car can only be a car. It can't transform itself. Yet, as a human being, we have an unlimited capacity to be able to transform ourselves. And it's a moment by moment by moment thing. It can happen here and it can happen here and it can happen. If I don't like myself here now in this moment, I can change that.
Love it. I love that. So, Rocío, have you seen Back to the Future?
I haven't. It's been a very long time.
Okay. So remember Marty McFly had a DeLorean, right? And he went back in time. So let's get into that DeLorean with Marty. Let's go back to the mother of basically a 5-year-old, a 20-year-old, Rocio. What kind of knowledge nuggets would you drop on her to maybe shorten her learning curve, level up, and blast through maybe just a little bit quicker?
Wow, that's such an amazing question. Trust people. I grew up, Scott, not trusting people. I thought that people were out to get me because they were when I was a little kid, except that kept me safe then. It won't keep me safe where I'm at now. To understand that I don't have to do it alone anymore.
Right.
That I can leverage other people's networks. I can leverage their talents. I can even leverage their thoughts. How important is that? And to be able to understand that there's nothing wrong with the life that I've lived. I think a lot of the time I've looked back and I'm like, in the beginning, you could have put me on the stage and done anything. And I could have talked about marketing or business, whatever that was.
Right.
And when it talked about vulnerability, that was hard. So that would be another thing right there, to be vulnerable, to own all of me, to own yes, I was that runaway. Yes, I was that teenage mother. Yes, I was a dropout. And yes, I have a dual MBA in international business and marketing. Okay.
Wow.
Yes, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Yes, I make an impact on a global scale. Yes, I own all of it. I'm a woman. I'm a Latina. I'm somebody who's for people, and I'm here to make an impact.
I love it. So how do you want your dash remembered? Like that little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date. How do you want that little dash remembered, life date and death date? How do you want it remembered?
Rocio was a woman worth becoming.
Wow. What the that is awesome. That was so quick and so convicted. and you're passing it on to the people that need your help to become what they want if they're ready to become that's just awesome. So Rocio, what do you think then people misunderstand about you the most?
Well, I think sometimes they confuse my drive for wanting to be constantly working. I think that's a big confusion right there. And it's like, no, I'm driven because I have a purpose in life. I have a purpose.
Sure.
I have solutions. If I can help people, I know the ripples of my impact.
Yes.
And
So
I know how the ripples of my impact will ripple through eternity or not.
yeah, wow. So yeah, the ripples are very, very like important, paramount. So what keeps you up at night then?
The possibility and excitement and how to help people reconnect to who they are. How do I help you reconnect to who you are? How do I help you bring those gifts from inside of you to share with the world so that you can own and be completely free? My ultimate goal at the end of the day is for people to live an extraordinary life. I want children to come home and feel like they live a magical, mystical experience, that this is their kingdom, this is their castle, this is a place that they're loved and accepted. I want people to walk into work and know that they're ripples of their impact, decisions, having conversations, showing up and making sure that they feel psychologically safe. And when they feel like an imposter, that I can take control here now.
Wow. That's strong. That is huge. That is huge. So let's take electronics out, phone out, tablet out. What are 3 things that Rocio can't live without?
My purpose, number 1.
Okay.
My purpose, knowing that I'm making an impact. And wow, nobody's ever asked me that question. Okay, Scott, you've got to give me a moment, right? So number 1 is to know that I can't live without making a passion. It makes my heart sing to know that people are succeeding. The next thing, I love to dance. I love music. I'm like that little Tasmanian devil. I remember back in the 80s watching him on TV and just that flow and sharing time and space with people that I love, with family and friends to
salsa dancing.
Salsa dancing.
There you go. I go right.
Bachata's my thing.
You gotta come down, man.
And bachata, salsa dancing. That's nice. Definitely me.
Okay. What's the third thing?
Well, the third thing is to spend time with family and friends and people that I love, talking about everything, whether it's current events or talking about possibility and opportunity and what we want to create in the world and making an impact through that, who we're being in those moments.
That's fantastic. And you are doing it all. You are. So, and we're back, squad, with my good friend, Rocio Perez. And Rocio, we got our leveling up lightning round. And you and I could talk 15, 20, 30 minutes on every one of these questions, but you got 5 seconds to answer with no explanation. Okay. You ready to rock?
I'm ready to rock.
All right, let's level up. Rocio, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
That life has always wanted me here.
Yes.
No matter whatever happened to me, life has always wanted me here because it's kept me here.
Beautiful. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Journaling every morning about possibility of who I want, as seeing myself in that future.
Okay, it's a lightning round. We're just going to answer.
All right, we've got it.
Ready? All right. Other than your own website, inventivaconsulting.com, and of course, timetoshinetoday.com, my shameless plug. What other website do you like to go to level up?
What other website? YouTube. I love to listen to other people.
Love it. So if you see me and I'm in my doldrums, just kind of moping around, other than Unstoppable, what kind of, you'd be like, Fergie, read this book?
I would say, hey, Fergie, get the Mind Shift Game.
Love it. Love
this
it.
helps you transform right here. I'm the creator of the Mind Shift Game. I've taken all of those learnings and I've been here helping people level it up.
I love it. Love it. What's your most commonly used emoji?
Ooh, happy face.
Love it. And don't lie to me on this one, lady. If you could be one age physically for the rest of your life, keep the wisdom you've garnered and continue to gain wisdom, what age physically would you stay for the rest of your life? And don't lie.
Oh, 15.
Okay. Well, that's younger. I usually say 32, but I'll take whatever you say. So quickly on this one, who has made the most profound impact on your life?
I say my son.
Beautiful. Great answer on that one. What's your favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time or money to?
Oh, I love to give my time and money to organize. Well, right now I have an organization called Global Minded. I love to give my time and energy to them. They're leveling it up for everyone else.
Beautiful. And last question, you can elaborate on this one a little bit, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I think they all have great. There's something great in each of them.
Pick one, Rocio.
Oh my God. Okay, 80s.
Okay, me too. Big hair, don't care. You had rap.
Did you not see my hair on my book, Scott?
I know. I love it. I love it.
Big hair. Okay, 1980 hairdo there.
Oh, I love it. I love you. It's so beautiful on there. That's awesome. It is kind of a throwback if you look at it.
It is a throwback of the 80s.
So, Rocío, how can we find you, hon?
You can find me at inventivaconsulting.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We also have a website that will be launching for the Mindshift game as well. So themindshiftgame.com. So you can find me on all of those platforms.
Talk to us about the Mindshift game.
The Mindshift game is a game that helps people build their confidence, take courageous actions, expand their vision, powerfully step into those visions with the energy necessary to do so. So the Mindshift game was developed for that. People would come to me and say, Rocio, I don't know what to do. How do I regain my confidence? And it was people all over. It was people who had 3 or 4 businesses that sold it, lost their confidence, didn't know how to gain it. I developed affirmation cards to help them take a look at it every day. We also develop this journal where they can take powerful actions every single day and continue to expand, test it, track it, tweak it, evaluate it. We cannot test and we cannot tweak what we cannot evaluate.
Love that. We cannot. Wow, that is awesome. I can't wait to get it. So tell us a little bit also about your book you wrote and what was kind of the forefront of that. And by the way, squad, I can tell you now, whoever posts on either Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, the first comment that is Rocio Rocks, whoever posts Rocio Rocks will get a free copy on Time to Shine Today's Dime. And I will send it out to my good friend Rocío for her to John Hancock it for you. Maybe she'll take care of the postage to you. If not, we'll Venmo her the money.
Of course, but
tell us a little bit about the book, because I am on page 49, just starting chapter 7. On the decisive discovery, accelerating insights, and it's awesome. I'm a 5-page a day guy. I got like 7 books going a day.
I love it.
But like, tell us a little bit about Unstoppable, please.
Well, Unstoppable I was coming off of a lot of stages, Scott, all over the country and speaking all over the world. And people were asking me, Rocío, how do I take you with me? And it was impossible. I tried to do it, Scott. I tried that. Hey, 144 clients, meeting them on a weekly basis. I didn't see the light of day. Okay, 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. It didn't work. Okay. I tried. Doesn't work. And so I started to put everything into this book. I said, they can take me with me now. Right there, they're going to do the reflection. They can do it in their own comfort of their own time. They want to go 5 pages at a time. Go ahead and go 5 pages at a time. Whatever it looks like for you, you have it here now. And when we know where we're going, when we can start to create, when we understand where is our mind, how is it designed and how is it not designed? How do I hijack my mind, right? Because you've read that chapter as well. How am I able to take a look at it? Where am I at? What are those things that are conflicting, those conflicting values? How do I align that? Because anyone can provide a step-by-step process.
Sure.
If we don't have these tools, it doesn't work.
Right. And squad, you'll love the book because not only is it an awesome read, it comes from the heart, and I get to take Rocío with me every day. Here we are side by side. But like, seriously, it's interactive. She has work steps for you to do to go through the book. So it helps it ingrain and etch that into your brain, which is just awesome. So one last favor from you, Rocío, can you leave us with one last knowledge nugget you want us to take with us, internalize, and take action on?
Your greatest investment will always be in yourself.
Love it.
Always invest in you. Hire a coach, hire a teacher, whoever can help you, support you, and bring out the best of you that's inside of you, not them, you.
And squad, I'm blown away. I don't know about you, but I got pages of notes. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's like fronts and backs. And we just had our free masterclass from our really good friend, Rocio Perez, who told everyone, even when she was younger, that she would be a teacher and inspire people. She reminds us that we choose the here and now, and that will, if you live in the here and now, that will create our future. She's going to also say that we are all born equals and that we are able to create, to make it about others, and life will be a heck of a lot easier. Ignore your not enoughness. That's what she said. That really stood out to me. Ignore your not enoughness. Don't listen to those people. Align with somebody like Time to Shine Today. He can make an introduction to Inventiva and let them help you level up. A great coach will get to understand the person's world through asking them powerful questions, get in their shoes, not sympathetic, but empathetic, look through their eyes. She's going to remind you that when she put that awesome flower up, that, there is a gestation period, that seed that happens is all throughout that flower. And if it's cultivated the right way, it'll bloom into that beautiful, beautiful flower, just like Rocio did from her hardships coming up when she was younger. She wants you to auto-reflect to bridge that gap. She wants you, if you're going to start to work with a coach, to ask the coach to tap in to their own inner wisdom. Don't look for answers outside of them. And are you aware of the problems you have? Are you committed to leveling up? Let us introduce you to Inventiva. And she would remind her younger self, and she wants to tell you as well, to trust people, use and leverage their knowledge. Or like my good friend Leah Woodford says that I always use, is to get your asking gear. Get out there, ask the questions, be vulnerable a bit, be open to learning. In her dash, that remembering her, she wants to be a woman worth becoming. That blew me the frick away. She wants to help you reconnect to who you are and to live an extraordinary life. And she lives a life with purpose, dancing and family. And man, you couldn't ask for any more than that. And that's probably why she leveled up through COVID and the crazy time. And she wants you to always invest in yourself. And Rocio, you are just amazing. You're beautiful. You're hungry yet humble. You level up your health. You level up your wealth. We're so happy you're here. Can't wait to collaborate in the future. I just love your guts.
Scott, you're amazing. Again, you're a ball of fire, somebody that inspires me just watching you touch, move, and inspire other people. Thank you for being such an extraordinary contribution. And I know the ripples of your impact will go through eternity.
Yay. Thank you, love. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Bye. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast, proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.